All right, good evening, everybody. It is 6 p.m. This is August 12th. This is our regular monthly meeting for the month of August for the Town of Spencer Board of Aldermen. So thank you all for being here this evening. We are officially called to order. We have all of our board members present this evening, and Mr. Muhammad will start with our invocation.
Lord, we come to you with a clear heart and a clear mind. With the Town of Spencer, the residents first, the employees and staff, we thank you for the guidance, wisdom that you provide us. Be with us as we move forward with the betterment for this town this evening. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, board, you have before you the proposed agenda for this evening. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Mr. Franzese, anything that you know of that we need to add or delete?
Nothing to add. We may be expanding the scope of the time during your presentation regarding Chief Lanning,
Okay.
as we heard earlier, if that's okay, but no
Absolutely.
additional items.
Very good. All right. Board, hearing no additions or deletions, is there a motion to adopt the agenda before you?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by the Mayor Pro Tem, second by Mr. Muhammad. All in favor? All right, all opposed? The agenda is set. And we will move to recognitions this evening. We're going to start, I've got 2 recognitions, and then Mayor Pro Tem has a recognition, and then the manager has 2 recognitions as well. So it's a night of recognitions. The first is I'd like to start by reading a proclamation by a dear friend of the town's and an ambassador of the town and our media coverage, if you will, over the years. We're very, very grateful for the work that Elizabeth Strelacci has done for the Salisbury Post, for all of Rowan County, but in particular her focus on the northern part of Rowan County and Spencer in particular. And so with that, we wanted to recognize her on her retirement, to be able to share with her this evening a proclamation from the board. And I will read that to...
And here she comes.
Oh,
Mr. Mayor.
perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Look at
It's perfect timing.
good timing, Elizabeth.
Would you like to know?
Your timing is impeccable because we are in the process of doing recognitions, and the first recognition is for you. So I will read the proclamation from our board. Whereas Elizabeth Strelacci has served with exceptional dedication in the field of journalism for 40 years, beginning her remarkable journey at age 15 and continuing to shape public understanding through her reporting, editing, and leadership across decades and communities. And whereas Mrs. Strelacci has worked in every capacity from sole reporter to executive editor, always maintaining a steadfast commitment to integrity, accuracy, and compassion in her coverage. And whereas during her most recent years at the Salisbury Post, Mrs. Strelacci faithfully reported on the community of Spencer, capturing its history, revitalization, challenges, and aspirations with clarity, fairness, and heartfelt engagement. And whereas Mrs. Strelacci has earned the deep trust and respect of our first responders, public officials, and citizens alike, having been recognized as a journalist who truly listens, understands, and honors the importance of every voice and every story. And whereas her thoughtful advocacy for the preservation of local journalism has reminded us of the critical role of the free press in sustaining community identity, transparency, and civic life. And whereas Mrs. Elizabeth Strelacci will officially retire from her position as a journalist with the Salisbury Post on Tuesday, August 12, 2025. And whereas the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, on behalf of the town of Spencer and its citizens, wish to recognize and celebrate Mrs. Strelacci for her years of faithful reporting, her profound civic contributions, and the enduring legacy she leaves within our town and across Rowan County. Now therefore, I, Jonathan D. Williams, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Spencer, and on behalf of the Board of Aldermen and all of our citizens, do hereby express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Elizabeth Strelacci. Be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be presented to Mrs. Strelacci with heartfelt congratulations and best wishes for a joyful retirement filled with continued inspiration, peace, and fulfillment.
Now what am I gonna do? I'm like.
I don't know, we're gonna miss you.
I know.
We're gonna have to visit.
We can put you on a committee. We'll sign her up to volunteer. Say it, we'll get her as a volunteer.
Yeah, we can do it.
Thank you so much for things done.
I miss you guys so much. I may just come sit at the meetings just to keep up with you
All
guys.
right.
And I have to watch her dog. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. I feel a lot of things today, though. Thank you all so very much for making me part of this family. And it's
You
been
absolutely
an
have
absolute pleasure, and I will tell you what I told Chandler. If the person that comes behind me isn't getting it done, you let me know.
And we will do. I tell you, in a world filled with social media and media of all sorts that has our heads spinning on a daily basis, I think not knowing what to trust or which way to look, Elizabeth has been a calming force in all of that, especially for her coverage of local news, and frankly has restored my faith in the media. And with the stories that come out, she does a good job of restoring my faith in humanity a lot of days. So thank you very much. All right. The next recognition, I would like to invite Chief Lanning forward. So, Chief, I've got no plaque to hand out.
I promise that's okay.
But I do want to take a moment to recognize you once again for a incredibly successful and amazing fire camp for our youth in our community that you recently held this summer. I had the second child of mine get to go through it, and he just absolutely loved it. What you are doing for community engagement, you and your entire team for community engagement involving youth and the programming, the time that y'all spend at the local schools, it's something that we don't see that often in a lot of communities, and we're just so very, very grateful for your leadership and for your team and everything that they put back into this community. You're an inspiration to us, and I know that you're an inspiration to many children in this community, and many of which hopefully will want to be firefighters with the town of Spencer one day. So thank you very, very much, and be sure to please thank your team for the great work that they do.
Yeah, and very appreciative for the support. We couldn't do it without the support of our elected officials, that is for sure. Y'all guide us, and we do as much boots on the ground as work as we can. But you hit on it, it's not me, it's our team. And I definitely couldn't do it alone. So we have a group of men and women that fully support and buy into my vision of community involvement. So I'm extremely grateful and thankful for that. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to say too that congratulations on your scholarship from Civic
Thank you.
Foundation.
Yes.
And to, I guess, just to add on to that, that scholarship was for the Public Executive Leadership Academy that the School of Government does. It's one of the top leadership programs that are available across our state. And Chief Lanning completed that last Friday, two intense weeks of exploring his leadership and taking it to the next level of more of a community vision. And really congratulate him on being part of that experience. Certainly appreciate his ability to be awarded the scholarship from Civic and all they do to support what we do. But he's to be commended for completing that program for sure.
Thank you. So More rabbit trail for a second. So Elizabeth, I am personally extremely grateful for not only your professionalism, but for your friendship. Oftentimes, I probably should not publicly say this, but trusting the press is hard. It's true. And we actually talked about this earlier at the fire station. I hate you retiring. I support it. Please enjoy life. You and Jim enjoy it. Enjoy your time together. But you will be greatly missed. So thank you. So the last thing, and I'm gonna get out of y'all's way for a little while. If I could have Chief Keezer and DeLuca come forward, please. I wanted to take this opportunity to formally introduce them to you as the board. I'm sure you've seen on social media and the press coverage that we did promote these two individuals. And I'm going to attempt to give a Reader's Digest version, and if they want to elaborate, then obviously allow them to do so. David Keezer was promoted to Deputy Chief. He began his fire service career in 2010 as a volunteer with the Leland Fire and Rescue Department. After returning to the region, he joined Salisbury Fire Department, where he advanced to the rank of captain and served with distinction until December of 24. Throughout his career, he's earned a bachelor's degree from Fayetteville State University and pursued graduate level coursework in training and development at North Carolina State University. David is also a published contributor in Firehouse and Fire Engineering magazines with recognized works on leadership and communication in the fire service. His commitment to training, fitness, you can't tell, much better shape than me, and continuous learning exemplifies the values we strive to promote within our organization. And Assistant Chief DeLuca, we're equally honored to promote him to the position of Assistant Fire Chief. With a career spanning much outside of the state of North Carolina, but over 35 years, TJ is recognized throughout the fire service for his unwavering dedication to enhanced operational performance and advancing risk management practices. His diverse experience includes both volunteer and career service, ranging from small town to large urban fire agencies. His well-rounded background has equipped him with a deep understanding of the unique challenges that we face by departments of all sizes. And he currently serves as a fire service risk management consultant, and has worked extensively with fire departments and municipalities to improve operational safety, accountability, and leadership culture. So I am very honored to introduce both of them and look forward to hopefully years of working alongside them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, congratulations, and we're thrilled to have you in the roles that we have you in now. And Chief, I'll tell you, you just keep putting together an all-star team, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to our next recognition, and I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
But before I say something about our schools here in Spencer, I want to elaborate just a minute more on the fire and police departments. Both of these departments are so involved in our schools. We are blessed. As an example, last year on the last day of school at North Elementary, I had to be over there for some type of business from town to the school, and I looked outside and the fire truck was there, and kids were running all through the water being shot out by the hoses and having a wonderful time. And I thought, boy, I bet you can't see this in too many places in America. But it was a really hot day, and they were all just having a blast, and the staff was too. And it just made my heart feel really good. And our firemen and policemen go into the school and sit down and have lunch with the kids, and they do it all the time. So they're in there at all three schools.
Some even coach.
Yeah, some of them even coach, that's right. And they've cleaned up the baseball field, and I mean, the list just goes on and on. So with that, I'm going to do my little spiel on a welcome back to the schools. Everyone here in the town of Spencer would like to welcome another school year, 25-26, hard to believe, with a shout out to all staff members and students of our Northland schools here in Spencer, and of course Hanford Dole, which is right outside of Spencer on the other side of 85. They feed into Northland too. Today marks the end of day 4 in this new year. We support our students and staff in every possible way we can, and we encourage all of you to reach out and see how you can help or volunteer. Don't forget to join Child's PTA And you don't have to be a parent to join any of these things. You can join as a citizen and show up for events and meetings when you do join. Join the Boosters Club at the middle and high schools and help support athletics, band, and academic programs because the Boosters Club works in all of those programs. All programs are underfunded for needs and can use both financial and volunteer help. Support your child and all of our children here in our schools in any way you can. They are all our children, whether you have children in school or not, and you can make a difference. Start now by being aware of our student safety on our roads, our sidewalks, parking lots, and school grounds. Keep them safe everywhere. Thank you very much. And remember, do not pass school buses who have the stop sign out, because some people have already done that. I've seen it on a news event, so make sure you don't do that. That's a big no-no. We appreciate everything you do for our kids. And if you want some ideas about things you can do and don't know how to contact the school, contact me and I'll get you the resources that you need to know. And I'm sure Linda Miller could help with that too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, Mr. Franzese, you have a few recognitions to make as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor and members of the board. I would like Sky Allen to come to the lectern if she would. And we'll do our first recognition. So about 4 years ago, Sky joined us as a bright, young, recent college grad and the lead for North Carolina program. She was committing to a year of service and exploring what it means to work in local government and to be a sponge and to take on things that we spelled out and take on things that we couldn't have imagined, and it went amazingly. But she really latched on to the idea of community building and of creating public art as a way to enhance Spencer as a destination and really to enhance our quality of life. And it started with ghost sign restorations, and it went on to creation of new murals in town. And one of them even went so far as to bring the community together to share its story about our labor history, which in itself was an amazing feat. And then through all that, Sky dealt with working through budgetary procedures and purchase orders and contracts and all sorts of other things. But her 2-year fellowship turned into a spark. Was a spark that led her back to Chapel Hill to complete the MPA at the School of Government, which I wholeheartedly was excited about. And she's now completed that. But while she was in graduate school, she continued to work with us as an intern and continue that work in the public art realm. Sky, I can't thank you enough for what you accomplished in those roles over the last 4 years. We hope that we can find a way to accommodate your continued leadership and your continued public service here in Spencer. Someday we gotta grow a little bit to be able to fit all that you can bring to a community. But we're really excited about what lies ahead for you in your public service, and just certainly wanted to thank you for all that you did over the last 4 years. I think you got to meet so many people in the community. I think a lot of folks in town are familiar with you and really appreciate all that you do. But here as our organization, as staff, and as the board, mayor and board, we certainly appreciate what you did for us. And I have a little something I want to bring it to you. This is a picture of the mural here on the side of this building that I hope you'll be able to display somewhere, and that is a little token of remembering all that you did here. That's a little piece of it. So thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful.
Yes, I definitely want to thank all of you. My time at Spencer was truly, truly amazing. I started, as Peter said, I started with a 1-year fellowship, which turned into 2, which turned into 2 more years. I just kept coming back. Spencer really gave me the opportunity to grow and advance, and really gave me the space to build on all the amazing things you are all already doing. And I can't thank you enough for the support, the information, the long talks, the real kindness that I think everyone here showed me as a young person just getting started in local government. And it really has inspired me to keep going and to pursue higher education and to keep going with local government. It's a big passion for me, and you all gave me the space to really build on what was here and really give it the spotlight it deserves. Spencer is a wonderful, wonderful town, and it has so much growing to do in the future. And what it's done so far is just phenomenal. And I would love to come back to Spencer, but until I do, I will be watching, and I will always keep Spencer in my heart. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
So y'all will notice an article that's printed, and this is on the School of Government's NC Impact website. If you don't have it in front of you, you can look this up. It's called "The Role of Social Capital in Public Art," and Sky wrote this article, and it tells kind of the intellectual story about what public art means in the community, and I think it gives you a good glimpse as to how Sky took this practical experience here and weaved it together with a graduate school, and how she was able to connect all those dots in a really interesting way. And so, little reading for everyone, a little homework assignment to follow up there. I wanted to make sure y'all had a copy of that as well.
Thanks.
Sky, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I would say you've probably left the most colorful mark on our community that anybody ever has. So thank you very, very much for the impact that you've had, not just visibly on our community, but just with the lives that you've touched and stories that you brought out of people. It's been a pleasure getting to work with you. So thank you for all that you've done.
And no graffiti.
What's that?
And no graffiti.
And no graffiti. All right. Mr. Francis, I believe you have another recognition.
Yes, if Joel Taylor could come up, and Heather Rosino with the Spencer JCs. Joel was recently recognized by the JCs for a very important award as part of their annual awards ceremony. And so Heather is going to talk about that, but I just wanted to point out that this is a reflection of Joel's work and that of our public works team as a whole for sure. But Joel is one, and everybody knows that he works shoulder to shoulder with his team to make sure Spencer is beautiful and safe, and his team does the things that a lot of folks don't want to do, and for that the community benefits, and we certainly thank Joel for his efforts, and thank the Spencer JCs for lifting up what he and his team do on a daily basis.
So every year the Spencer JCs hold a Distinguished Service Awards banquet where we recognize outstanding teenagers, educators, senior citizens, public servants, and then a North Carolina outstanding representative. We do try to tend to focus to Spencer. However, this year we did broaden that up to Spencer, Davie, and Cabarrus counties because we wanted to broaden that with the match of our membership. We have members from Spencer to Denton to Moxville that want to come and be a part of Spencer, and we honor that recognition and that support from them. So with that being said, this year Joel Taylor was our award recipient, and our people couldn't talk about his team enough. His leadership, his dedication, his support is definitely not one that you can look down on. No offense, planning. You never know, your time might be coming in the future. But you know, it's definitely not something that this town couldn't live without. So with that being said, Joel Taylor, congratulations on behalf of the JC.
I thought we were going to get a speech from Joel.
Come on.
Joel, we'll echo those sentiments, you know, and I feel like we say it every meeting that we have, and we probably don't say it enough. Thank you for what your team does and your leadership of that team. We consistently get lots of good feedback from community members about the work that you do and the service and going above and beyond. And you're a true ambassador for what Spencer should be and what we're all about. So thank you. All right. I'd also like to recognize Heather Racino because we have a new Spencer JC's member. Heather Racino is the new president-elect for the North Carolina JCs, and she will take over on January 1st. So she will be the 2026 JC's president for the state of North Carolina. So great things are happening in Spencer. All right, and with that, we will move to public comment, and we have 3 folks signed up for public comment this evening, and so I'll invite Heather back up here on behalf of the Holiday Caravan.
I just never disappear.
So as a reminder, as we move into public comments, each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak, and we do have a timer that we'll put up, and so just as a reminder for those that are signed up, state your name and address for the record, and we'll move forward. So, Heather.
Hi again. I'm representing on behalf of the parade this time. We do have our event of the Spencer Street Dance that will be coming up on August 30th. Start time is 6 p.m. End time is 10 p.m. and it will be in the new park. Divided by 4 will be the band. So come out and enjoy. We have talked with the brick and mortars, and they are going to remain open. And we encourage the community to support them with those efforts. We will also have a volunteer sign up, so people can sign up to help at the parade the day of that event. Parade is coming along great. We do already have some entries, which we're extremely excited about. We officially have a website that I am extremely happy about. So that will be posted on our Facebook page probably within the next upcoming days. So I will be getting on there and updating that as well. And that parade is November 26th at 6:30-ish. We are aware that Salisbury is doing their parade. So we are trying to accommodate start time-ish to help those participants get to the parade and not feel rushed. We will have food vendors at the parade this year like we did last year. And we are looking to cap it at about 124 entries. We don't want it to be too terribly long because attention span of kids doesn't really last that long. Like
And some of us adults too.
Yeah. Yeah. So please come out and support because we're pretty excited. Good
Great.
things coming.
Awesome. Very good.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you and the
Thank
you.
JCs, and thanks to the Holiday Caravan group for.
Can you?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you state the title for the Facebook page again?
Spencer's Holiday Caravan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Make sure everyone is aware.
Yes. Got it. Anything else?
Good, thank you.
Yes. Y'all have a good one.
All right. The next person signed up is Pam Penix. Good evening.
Good evening. I want to thank all of y'all and thank you for the time y'all taken and the progress of the sidewalks and the alley. And I really appreciate everything y'all done in the alley. For 2.5 to 3 hours a day means a lot to me and my business. And I appreciate all the concern y'all done and thank you for everything. I would like to leave this with you. Kindness doesn't need a stage. It shows up in parking lots, late texts, warm food, tired eyes, and people who pause just long enough to make someone else feel seen. It's everywhere if you still know how to look. I would like to leave that with y'all and thank y'all so much for everything.
Thank you, Ms. Penix.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll invite Charles White forward.
Well, I really don't know what to say. I hadn't heard anything to make a statement or comment on. Just hearing that, I kind of feel like I know which direction everything went. I wasn't notified or asked to talk to about the alley or the walkway. So I'm kind of surprised.
So no decision's been made. That's on our agenda for this evening.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Didn't hear it until I just heard that. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And thank you for what y'all have done. And I hope I didn't say or do anything that would cause any conflict. Just wanted to be fair. And so saying that, y'all have a good evening. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just say thank you to both of y'all for showing up tonight and for your comments. Appreciate it. It means a lot.
Chief over there, I would like to say, y'all don't realize this, we had fire sales a week ago, and I kept calling, everybody kept calling, and finally, that night, I think like, oh, somebody fired out, so let's go down there and see who it is. So we rode down there, we got on the contact, we got down there, there's this chief in his car, his lights on, signing up the alley, because as I had kept telling them, the wires were hanging down, told them how the post was, and the lady kept saying, thank you for giving us all the details, everybody else had. I said, well, people go through that alley, make it like, I don't know, homeless or whatever, but somebody should let, so y'all need to really think about it. But he showed up, he stayed there, and he raised it off, he kept those lights on, so my hat's off to you, and thank you all. And those will feel fresh.
Thank you, Ms. Penix. All right. Well, that's board. I mean, I think it's great that we can sit up here and congratulate and appreciate our staff, but I tell you, it means even more when the citizens and business owners do that. So thank you, Ms. Penix. All right. Board, that is it for public comment this evening. We will move into our consent agenda. You have several items on the consent agenda. Is there any need to pull any items for additional discussion? And if not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as proposed.
All right, a motion by Ms. Sledge.
Second.
Second by Ms. Moody. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, all opposed? And the consent agenda is approved this evening. All right, the next item is to consider adopting ordinance 25-15 that would amend the town's code of ordinances, authorizing the creation of an encroachment agreement process for the use of sidewalks and alleyways. Board, as a reminder, this is the public hearing that we heard about last Thursday at our pre-agenda meeting. Mr. Blunt.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I will go through the same slideshow you saw just Thursday night for the viewing public's purposes, and then I have a few other comments to add to that. So let me do this as quickly as I can and as articulately as I could. This whole issue started with a complaint about the use of that alleyway. And our code enforcement officer came to me and asked my opinion, as he occasionally does, about the existing language in our ordinance, what it meant, what he should do. And from there, we met with various people and found out it wasn't just a problem with the alleyway, that it was also concerns about the sidewalks. Before I get into the sidewalks, I want to remind you that we do have a system of alleyways throughout our community. They were platted years and years ago when the town was originally platted out. At some time in the past, they were actually used for service vehicles to get to the rear of the homes and businesses in our community to deliver anything from coal to oil to milk. They are not used that much now. They are public right-of-ways for the most part. They are not maintained by the town, but we do oversee authority of how they are used. Sidewalks and alleyways have primary purposes. Obviously, sidewalks, the primary purpose is for people to walk on, to go from place to place so they don't have to walk out in the road. Alleyways, quite honestly, originally, as I said, were originally thought of as a way for vehicles to move behind vehicles, behind buildings, to provide services. They're not used for that as much anymore, but they are used occasionally for rear access, for people to park in their backyards, for businesses to access the rear of their buildings, and still for people to walk through those alleyways. Those are the primary purposes. The reason that we've looked at this ordinance so long and gone through so many steps is that there are alternative uses for those spaces. These are the alleyways in the downtown core area, and you'll realize a little later in this presentation why I've given you this slide. But that shows you a grid of the alleyways in the downtown business district of our community. Other communities have taken advantage of their alleyways in various and sundry ways. Two of those pictures are from Easy Street in Salisbury, which you probably will recognize. The others could be from anywhere from Asheville to Charleston to any old town that has alleyways in their urban district. These are our sidewalks in the downtown core area, and these are the only sidewalks that are wide enough to actually be considered for alternative uses. Most of the other sidewalks throughout the town are anywhere from 3 feet to 5 feet wide, and that's just really barely wide enough for people to walk on. I'll intersperse these slides with other places that have used their sidewalks, and this was pointed out in the planning board meeting last night. These sidewalks are right much wider than ours, so they have a lot more alternative uses they can use for their sidewalks. But it gives you an idea of how pleasant outdoor dining and outdoor uses of these spaces can be and what an amenity it can be to our downtown area. Also landscaping and dividers. That picture on the left shows you a divider system that may be necessary in some areas to actually demark the difference between the walking space and the dining space. That's a possibility for some areas. Some people would question whether we are going to regulate private businesses, and we are not. Pesos also has a private patio area in front of their business. They have tables and chairs there. This ordinance will have absolutely nothing to do with the operation of that. Spencer Deli and Fleming Street Bakery have dining set up in front of their stores, like down the sidewalk here, but that is a private sidewalk. Those sidewalks are on private property. They are maintained by the private property owner. They are regulated by the private property owner. That private property owner makes the decision about whether he wants to allow them to do this, and if so, how to arrange it. We won't have anything to do with that. This is an old picture of Pinocchio's on Salisbury Avenue, and they used to provide outdoor dining. And occasionally when I was out riding my bicycle, I would stop by and have a cold beer and a few appetizers. Miss those good days. They don't do that anymore, but this is an example of how outdoor dining could be arranged in front of their restaurant. And this is Roger Dogs. Again, most of these are old pictures, so they're not exactly what's arranged now, but that gives you some idea. This is a little closer picture showing a square table or round table, I guess it is, with 4 chairs around it. As we got into this deeper and deeper, as you'll remember, I came back to you with a suggestion for a very simple text amendment that would give me, as your zoning and subdivision administrator, authority to make these decisions. And you, in your wisdom, took that problem off my back and said, let's write an ordinance that is more objective and has numbers in it and spacing and more direct language about how things can and can't be done. So we've done that. In doing that, we also looked at your comprehensive land use plan and other planning documents and found that there were numerous mentions of creating a downtown cultural and arts district, or an entertainment district, if I started calling it. So that sort of expanded our thinking from just solving a sidewalk problem, or maybe an alleyway problem, to taking this problem and making it a chance to improve the amenities in the downtown and actually improve our community. One of the main tenets of that we've already accomplished. You've already accomplished. Our park is completed. Within that park, we have the main plaza building that has seating for outdoor eating and 2 picnic tables that are set up. The upper left-hand green rectangle is the eating area in front of Salty Dog, or Roger Dog, excuse me. Salty Dogs is out of bunch. And then the other 2 were something we started thinking about, and we'll talk a little more about it, but 5th Street is wide enough that we could actually do some bump outs and actually build more space for outdoor seating along that road. You give up a few parking spaces, but it also would help solve some of these problems. And again, some more pictures of outdoor eating spaces in other communities. And outdoor landscaping. Those bump outs don't have to be just seating space. They can be landscape areas that make our downtown area more attractive. These are really big ones. Obviously, we can't do that on our small sidewalks, but if you did a bump out, maybe you could. Maybe you could. So think big, execute small, and accomplish great things over time. Y'all are world renowned for that now. You've accomplished great things. So keep up that big thinking. In closing, let me say that as a planner, we always wish we had a blank sheet to design something on, and we never do. We always start with something that's already 90% complete. But in this case, what we've got as far as trying to create that entertainment district is the anchor tenant already in place, our park, and hopefully some landscaping in the rest of the parking area. You add to that a grid of alleyways and sidewalks in that downtown area that provide a perfect pedestrian walkway to all of these areas. You add to that existing buildings, many underutilized at this time, that could be evolved into an entertainment district type of use. And you've got some open spaces. One belongs to you, the Old Town Hall building, that at some point could be rebuilt into wonderful spaces for an entertainment district. And when I went out and took some pictures one day of the downtown area, I realized that we're well on our way to accomplishing these goals. Our landscaping ordinance required some of these new businesses to do a better than normal job of landscaping when they were built. So when you stroll around certain parts of the downtown area, it's a pretty nice looking space, pretty nice buildings. Looking at our new park, the landscaping will grow over the years and be a beautiful, soft space in a hard downtown area. There's one of those beautiful picnic tables that I mentioned that people can come and eat at. Staff has been talking about the need for umbrellas on those to keep the sun off my bald head. And then I want to show you this picture. This is the 5th Street side. And I didn't realize it till I actually was putting slides in the slideshow that although there's some beautiful buildings along here, it's not a very pretty road, at least looking that direction. If you turn around and look the other direction, you'd be looking at a park. But it certainly makes you stop and wonder what it could look like in the future if we put some effort into planning now and looked at the amenities that would attract new businesses to our community, that would flesh this out as an entertainment district that we could all be proud of. So is Fifth Street improvements the next big thing for Spencer? That little corridor right there could have as much impact as the new park sitting in front of this building. And now's the time to start planning for it. And what was a problem, competing ideas of how an alleyway and sidewalk should be used, could actually be transformed into a real benefit for our community if we take it in that direction. With that said, when I first took this to the planning board, they suggested two different things that we needed to do. One was relocate a garbage can. I've explained to you about that. The other was do away with the planters. And I told them in the meeting that I didn't think the board would support the idea of tearing out something that it took so long to get in our town. And it was thought about and planned out so well to try to improve the look of our community. But in talking to some of you individually and talking with other staff members, maybe there is a possibility to take out a few planters. Or as Joe Morris suggested, put tables on top of these planters. Let people sit around, use that for the seating space. So again, there's various options there. We've got before you now an ordinance that addresses the sidewalks, the alternative uses of sidewalks, and also the alternative uses of alleyways. Alleyways are included in this ordinance. I showed you some suggestions from the planning board. Last night at the planning board meeting, they actually voted to recommend approval of this ordinance to you, but they also wanted to add one item. I think you have a copy of that in front of you. It would be added as item 9402D8, which reads, restaurant will provide a dedicated garbage receptacle in the outdoor dining area that will be available for disposal of eating-related garbage. Restaurant staff will keep the area clear of trash and garbage and will empty the garbage receptacle as needed, but at least daily. That is their suggested addition to the ordinance as it was originally presented to you. You can accept that recommendation, reject that recommendation. Obviously, you can make any other changes that you might want to make. At your meeting Thursday, we discussed the differences in some distance of separation. 3 feet for merchandise, 4 feet for restaurant chairs and tables. The mayor brought up a good question about ADA. And we looked it up to make sure we were right. ADA requires at least 3 feet. Actually, you can go a little less than that if you do some other things, but 3 feet's the standard. So as long as we maintain 3 feet clear, we're okay with ADA. So that and the planning board's suggested addition, along with the original text amendment that we gave you on Thursday, is what we bring to you tonight. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Blunt. Board, any questions at this point?
I'd like to make a comment real fast.
Yes,
Mr. Blunt, I appreciate what you and your committee have done because I think it's good that we put down some rules and regulations so everybody can understand instead of having your judgment on that thing. I'm hoping this will answer any problems. I'm excited about your ideas on Fifth Street. I think that it has great possibilities, and this probably will head off some problems in the future. So thank you again for what you did. Thank you.
And so, Mr. Blunt, can you confirm we have though updated, we're showing 4 feet?
4 feet is the separation for, actually it's not separation, it's a clear path between the storefront and tables and chairs that are used for outdoor dining.
What about for,
For merchandise, it would be 3 feet. Again, the thinking behind that is that the merchandise is a static display. It's not going to move. And therefore, you're guaranteed you're going to have that 3-foot clearance. On the other hand, tables and chairs, people pull the chair out a little bit, sit down. After they eat, they lean back and slide the chair out even farther. The concern is that if you made it 3 feet, then by the time somebody sat down, it would be reduced down to 2.5, 2 feet, which would not be acceptable. So the primary desire is to keep a 3-foot clear space on all of our sidewalks. And that's what the application process will be. The restaurant owner will have to present a drawing showing measurements and how they are accomplishing the separation from the storefront to any tables, chairs, or merchandise. So it allows the manager or his designee to make some good decisions based on what's presented, and probably 100 things we haven't anticipated that will come up during that application process allows that person to make some subjective decisions, but most of it would be objective.
So a question related to that, I know, and we kind of brought it up on Thursday. I think we were bringing it up from the standpoint of confirming with ADA, but we got to keep in mind ADA is the minimum requirement, and for the simplicity of ordinance enforcement, for clarity, my recommendation would be, board, that we consider 4 feet for all of that, for both the businesses must maintain a clear distance of 4 feet. Whether it's retail, whether it's restaurant, it takes a lot of ambiguity out of it and makes it very clear. The other thing that I want to keep in mind is if you've got a wheelchair passing and another person also trying to pass, 36 inches is going to be tight. And so in our kind of main area where the main traffic in town, pedestrian traffic, having 4 feet, I think, is going to be much more beneficial to traffic flow through that corridor. But obviously, that's the pleasure of the board and what you would prefer. I don't want to limit our businesses in be, making it more restrictive on one versus the other, but I also think that consistency in that 4 feet is going to provide better traffic flow.
If you desire as a board to make that change, it's paragraph C1 is what designates 3 feet separation. So you would just be changing that 3 to a 4. If you desire to do that, just make that notation in your motion.
What's we kind of briefly got into this on Thursday. What is the sidewalk? And I know we're talking about the planter and what's outside the planter, but are there differences between 5th and 4th, 5th primarily and Salisbury Avenue? Because I mean, having consistent makes sense. If we go to 4, I'm even more concerned about how that impacts Salisbury Avenue.
There are differences in not only the width of the sidewalk, but the placement of the storefronts and the design of the storefronts in some cases. I noticed yesterday one of the storefronts had built a ramp to get up into the store instead of having 2 steps. And that ramp protrudes out into the sidewalk some distance. So again, the application process will require, let's start from scratch. Primarily the sidewalk, again, is for walking. There shouldn't be anything out there. The person who wants to put something out there will have to submit a drawing as a part of an application showing where it will be placed and how placing it where they show it will maintain the 4-foot walkway if you change it to 4 foot on both of them, either a 3 foot or a 4 foot, depending on how you look at it. So that it's easy to get in your mind that would just be a straight shot. It may meander a little bit depending on what the setbacks are here and where the planters are there. To answer your question succinctly, yes, there are differences. The sidewalk on Salisbury Avenue is, I think, 2 feet wider than the sidewalk on 5th Street. and the sidewalk on 4th Street, in some places, it's a parking area, so the sidewalk width is almost infinite, but there's supposedly a sidewalk there. In other places, it's down to like 10 feet up at Casas also. So each situation will be handled differently based on the actual measurements that are submitted as a part of the application process. The manager or his designee's goal and mission will be to maintain that clear pathway. And if the submitted drawing does not maintain it, then it will be rejected. They won't be given a permit.
What is consistent through there is the distance between planters, right? And so as you start talking about that, there is, I think, ample room, at least on Salisbury Avenue, on this end of this street, to, if retail needed to be put out between planters, right? It just would have to be pushed forward. But that's not necessarily a path of direct travel.
And alleyways, to expand on that just a little bit, this ordinance affects alleyways exactly as it does sidewalks. If somebody has a desire to use an alleyway for an alternative use, they will have to create a drawing that shows how that use will work in that alleyway. And then it will be up to the manager or his designee to determine whether that is an acceptable use. If an alleyway is actually used for car traffic on a regular basis, then almost any alternative use would be rejected. If, on the other hand, the alleyway is not used for traffic, then it becomes a pedestrian pathway, and the alternative use would be judged under that standard. If I were the designee at that point, I would go out and talk to the other property owners to make sure the proposed use of the alleyway was not going to obstruct them from access to the rear of their property or the use of their property. So that's when it's going to come down to doing a little more research than just what the numbers would tell you to make sure what's being proposed works. And that's true of almost any ordinance. We always have to look at the big picture and then go look at the little details to make sure everything works.
Yeah, I mean, and I've not measured it. I've asked a couple of people. I'm concerned on Salisbury Avenue, and also you get the light post in between the planters and the benches, which those are great. I'm concerned you're going to have haves and have-nots on Salisbury Avenue, where some can do this and some will simply not be able to.
That will be the case anyway, based on the width of the storefront. If somebody with a narrow storefront wants to do outdoor dining, it would spill into their neighbor's property. The ordinance allows for that, but you have to get permission of those surrounding properties to do that. If one store owner that has a planter right in front of his store wants to do something, but there's not enough space, he could go to the neighboring property and say, hey, you mind if I put my table over here in front of your store? And as long as that neighboring property owner agreed to it, along with the application process, we could approve it. So it's got some flexibility built into it in my mind. You can only take objective things so far, and then you got to get it really subjective.
So I think, the other thing, board, we need to consider is, first and foremost, the reason for this ordinance is we want to support our businesses, but first and foremost is we want to maintain accessibility throughout our town, because that is the purpose of sidewalks, is to allow people to get from one place to another. And so for reference, 48 inches is basically 4 sheets of paper put together, right? So we're talking 36 inches versus 48. 48 is still not a lot of room, but it is enough room for multiple people to travel back and forth.
I will point out, I mentioned that my original suggestion to you was just to give me the authority to make some decisions. That would have been a 1-paragraph text amendment. You've got before you a 4 or 5 page text amendment. Somebody suggested that I read the Asheville ordinance on outdoor dining, and I did this morning. It's 45 pages long. So we're not there yet, but someday we may have to modify this ordinance.
Mr. Blunt.
Yes, ma'am.
We've talked about the availability of the picnic tables in the park and the picnic tables near the park, or I guess actually in the park too. Does this requirement about the garbage, how does that impact a restaurant owner with people going over to the park to eat their food?
There are trash cans on our side of the road at the park. So if somebody eats there and wants to use the public trash can, we would certainly prefer that than them throwing it on the street or leaving it on the table. I don't think we could require the restaurant owner to come across and clean up our property. We're allowing them to use it. We take the risk that somebody's not going to use it well. If I go out there in the morning when I come to work and have a cup of coffee and eat a donut and I leave my napkin laying on the table, the only person you can fuss at's me. You can't go fuss at a store owner. You really can't fuss at the manager. I'm the guy that left the napkin there. So I don't think the use of our property would impact the private business owner law.
So you heard that, Joel. If you find any trash out there whatsoever, it's Steve's fault.
If it's got donut, we're going to do it.
All right, board, any other questions?
I did just want to make a quick comment that I think we've heard in this room and then from citizens and more private avenues the need for consideration and fairness. And so I appreciate the extra work that you've put into this ordinance because I think I'm sure everyone could think of a different use, but the primary way is we need people to be able to traverse. So I appreciate your extra work on this because I think we are trying to just accommodate everyone as fairly as possible.
It always surprises me that we can, it surprises me what stirs up controversy. We build $1 million industrial plants and have hardly a peep, and then we do chickens and the room's full, and now it's sidewalks. So live and learn.
Things you don't think of.
All right, board, any other questions or any other feedback?
I just think it's exciting that we're going to be moving toward, public accessibility and public entertainment area. I think that's really a big thing for Spencer. And I think sprucing up Fifth Street will have to be a part of it. And just going to have to, maintain the standards and occasionally for special events or circumstances, maybe a little bit of flexibility. But so if they, but if they had any uses for alleyways or anything, they would have to just draw a plan and get it approved.
Draw it and submit it with a permit application. And we did have one question about how quickly we would start enforcing this, whether we, after y'all vote tonight, go out tomorrow and put on our police hats and force people to do this, that, and the other. We've still got a long ways to go. We've got to create the permit application. We've got to get it all written up in papers as far as how we do it. And then the applicants will need to sit down with us one at a time. And if need be, we'll go out there and measure it with them and help them lay out the layout to make it work.
And you said that who will be the police on this thing is yet to be determined? Is that correct?
It's a code enforcement issue.
It's code enforcement. Yeah. So Preston,
the beauty of the code enforcement issue after we adopt this is that he will be able to take out that submitted plan that comes with the application. And if they said they were going to put up, for example, 2-foot round tables and 4 chairs, and they have a 6-foot round table, then he can say, hey, that's not right. You didn't follow your application. And it gives him the right within the language of the ordinance to either work with them to correct the problem or reject the permit, and they have to take it away. So it'll make it a lot easier for him.
Okay. All right, board. So you have a proposed text amendment before you to section 94.02 of the Code of Ordinances controlling the alternate uses of sidewalks and alleyways. You have the proposed amendment in your packet. You also have a few changes to that as recommended by the planning board last night, specifically to 94.02D.8. And then also to item 3. And then, as we mentioned, it's the pleasure of the board if you want to stick in item C1, if you want to stick to the 3 feet for retail, non-restaurant retail, or make it consistent to 4 feet across the board for restaurant and retail. What is the pleasure of the board?
I move to adopt ordinance 2515 as presented, with the addition of the proposed text amendment as forwarded by the planning board last night at their meeting. And for consistency, make it 4 feet for both retail as well as for dining.
Okay. Ms. Sledge has a motion on the table for the text amendment, and also incorporating the planning board's recommendations from last night and a consistent 4-foot clear space across the board for restaurant and retail. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Muhammad. Is there any further discussion on the matter at this point? Okay, hearing none, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor? All right. All those opposed? All right, so that is 5-4, 1 against. The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Blunt.
Thank you.
All right, we will move to consideration of adopting ordinance 25-16 that would amend chapter 9, section 91.3 of the town's code of ordinances to make the keeping of chickens on residential lots a part of our normal regulations. Mr. Blunt.
I was going to say this should be much easier, but since it has to do with chickens, I hesitate to say that. As you remember, a little over a year ago, you adopted a pilot program to allow chickens to be kept on residential lots throughout the town of Spencer. That ordinance had size criteria as to how many chickens could be kept. It also had regulations as far as the enclosures, and a big one had to do with fencing and screening from adjacent properties. That program had, and I put it in the ordinance, I don't remember off the top of my head, but we had a number of contacts, and I continue to have contacts probably on a monthly basis of people not only interested in keeping chickens on their lots, but people thinking about moving to Spencer, and they want to check ahead of time to see if it's okay to keep chickens. And they're making living decisions on where they can and can't keep chickens. So I think it's good that you adopted this. We've had a number of people apply for the keeping of chickens, and then a slightly smaller number of people who have actually started keeping chickens. And I'm happy to say that there have been absolutely no complaints from any citizens that I'm aware of about the keeping of chickens. Most people are very excited about this as a program and feel that the people that have gone through the trouble of applying and meeting all of our requirements are doing a good job of keeping chickens without causing a problem in the neighborhood. So what we're asking of you tonight is a very simple thing, to do a minor text amendment to that original ordinance that makes this a regular regulation. It's no longer a pilot program. That would remove the limit on how many permits I can issue in a year. The first program, I think, was capped at 12. And we didn't get that many applications, but we probably came fairly close. As we move forward and grow, we want it to be a standard program that we work on. I will say that the fencing/screening requirement is the one thing that has caused the most problems to some of the property owners. It's a major expense to do that, to keep a few chickens. That's the only way I've kept my wife from making me get chickens. So my vote is to leave it like it is. But as you might imagine, there are people that come to me and say, we want to do this. My neighbors love the idea. They want to chip in and help buy the chickens in the coop. But why do I need to put a fence between my property and theirs when they're happy about it? And the reason we have to do that is because it's written in the ordinance. We may come back to you at some future point to try to modify that a little bit to make it a little bit easier to do chickens without the fencing requirement. But not now. All I'm asking now is just to change this to a regular ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Blunt. Board, any questions on this?
I would like to make a comment. The lady who I think started my wheels turning about this and got us started talking about it had a meeting tonight at her job, and she said she would be very happy to come and speak about her success with the chickens had she not been otherwise involved. But she did say that she hoped to be able to keep the house that she has here, even though she is buying another house in Salisbury, and rehomed her chickens to someone out in the further out of town. But thanked us for doing that so that she could have her chickens.
The people that have them think of them just like pets, just like a cat or a dog. So.
Yeah.
Well, and we've had a little bit of a situation since we first started this pilot. We've had a little bit of a change with our economy and the price of eggs that I think are making it maybe even more intriguing to raise chickens. I'll make sure. I'll make sure to tell Melanie that.
Call your wife tonight. Tell her you said
that. All right, board. Any other questions?
I'd just like to note that if I wasn't made aware by someone telling me, someone very close to my house is in the chicken program, and after a year, I still wouldn't know that they have chickens in their yard. So, I know I was a big fan of this idea in the beginning, and as a neighbor of someone who's in it, I still stand by that. I haven't gotten any eggs though, which is a real bummer.
Well, Steve, I appreciate your time with the pilot program, getting that up and going. I mean, I'm glad that we did that to see how it would go, to see the interest in it, and also to kind of hear about the results or maybe the lack of results and lack of complaints, that sort of thing. So, all right, board. So there's a proposed amendment before you. What is the pleasure of the board?
I move to adopt the changes as listed for Ordinance 2516 to amend Chapter 9, Section 91.3 of the Town's Code of Ordinances to allow for a permanent program for keeping chickens.
All right. Motion by Ms. Sledge. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Moody. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. All opposed? And that is approved. I do see Mr. Miller and Mrs. Miller eyeing one another, and I'm believing that Linda may be getting chickens.
I wondered why she wanted to come to me. Now I know.
I want to make it possible for Ms. Blunt to have chickens.
I'll have you over for chicken dinner. It's a circle of life.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Blunt. Now we'll move to our departmental reports, and Mr. Blunt will give the planning department report.
Thank you, sir. And as usual, you have my written report. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Board, any questions?
Can you give us a progress report on the Hawkinstown Road development and also our truck stop?
Hawkinstown Road, I've been watching carefully. They have continued to work on their infrastructure. It is my understanding that they ran to a little bit of a approval process on the water line that they ran as far as SRU's approval on that, and that it held up to some degree the moving ahead with construction. They can't build anything until they get that approved. So I think that's what's holding that from moving ahead quickly. The truck stop, any day I've ridden by there, there's people out there working, but not many. And in talking to Salisbury Rural Utilities, there again is some question. If you'll remember, there were several other projects that were underway in that area, and it was going to necessitate the installation of a sewer line and water line that would have actually run down next to the truck stop. And at some point, they stopped their planning, waiting for that line to be installed. And then the distribution center across the street slowed down progress on their project due to the economy, and the sewer line didn't get installed. So there's, again, an approval step that the truck stop needs to do with Salisbury Rural Utilities to resolve how they're going to route their water and sewer, since that main line's not going to be installed. At one point, they actually had approached us on the possibility of doing a septic system. For that, and it would be approved if septic's not available. It would obviously take a fairly large septic drain field to handle a project of that type, but it is possible. But to my knowledge, they are still moving ahead, just more gradually than we would like to see it happen. Various and sundry other projects, I continue to contact them usually on a monthly basis. They're all still excited about the projects. They haven't dropped them. They're just waiting for tenants to show up. The tenants will show up when the economy settles, and basically it's the lenders are not lending money on big projects right now until they know what the long-term interest rates are going to be. So it's the economy slowing things down more than that. We are seeing progress on the North Carolina Finishing Company site and the Fisher Lamb site as far as getting the brownfield study completed. That work has started now. Other grant money is becoming available to help finalize some of that. We had meetings as late as this morning on that project, trying to move it ahead and solve some of the infrastructure problems on that one. And we're hearing about bigger and bigger projects that are going to happen in this area. They aren't to the point of making them public yet, but they're exciting things for our future.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
I like your quotes. One of them that I thought, before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But and if you think you're leading, turn around and see if no one's following you. There's another one that's lead me, follow me, or get the hell out of my way. So that was General Patton.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blunt.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item is our code enforcement report. Good evening.
Chief apologizes for having a previous commitment, so he sends, I don't know what, number 3 down the line.
Lucky you.
You're just stuck with me. So sorry about it. All right, so you've had the code enforcement monthly report already provided to you. Basically, we had 45 new cases built in July by Preston, code enforcement officer. 257 cases total in 2025 so far. And he's doing a fantastic job, guys. He's at an 81% voluntary abatement clearance rate. So that is a testament to his ability with that gift of gab that he's got to go out and talk to people and really convince them to get their things in line. So we do have a new case highlight for July, 610 South Carolina Avenue. Got some pictures or something to pull up. So here's kind of what it looked like before. It's got a previously vacant. It's got a new owner now that is occupying that property. That's what it looked like before. So obviously a lot of work to be done there. And that's the same one. And well, there's been a lot of work done to it, so it's definitely looking a lot better. We'll see if we can get it better. It's definitely not where it needs to be yet, but
Maybe that first picture was that.
Yeah. So he's trying his best to get it done week by week as he goes through it. So very happy with that. Any questions on the code enforcement report?
Board, any questions? All right. Thank you. We'll move to the police department report.
Sure. All right. So had a great start to the new school year. A few bumps in the road with traffic issues and that kind of thing due to the 8th graders being up at the high school now. Some logistical issues with SRO Paget and how that's kind of working itself out. It kind of brought in some things that we really didn't even think about. Now we have 8th graders at the high school that start at 7:30, so they start being dropped off at 10 after 7. And typically our SRO didn't have to be there until about 8 o'clock, and so now he's covering for 2 different school times, and there's all kinds of things there that we are getting figured out as we go. And for a new SRO, it's been a little bit much on him, but we're getting through it. But a good start to the new year. We have increased our school checks. If you'll notice, we've done 336 total in the month of July, and that'll continue to go up, especially throughout the day, just to give the SROs a little bit of, a break, if you will, just give them, some extra hands there. We're preparing for a really big national night out on October 7th. Got a lot of stuff going for that, doing some meetings and that kind of thing weekly at just about. We had a total number of 2,518 events, so pretty good month. And I think that's pretty much it. He didn't tell me anything else to tell you guys, so if you have any questions, we'll, try our best to answer.
Thank you, sir. Board, any questions?
What time will that event start, October 7th?
I believe he said 6, but I'll have to check with him. Could be 5:30. October
Okay.
7th.
This has nothing to do with the PD report. Are you still, but it has to do with you. I haven't seen you since I need to ask you this. You still the person to talk to about 8th Street Ballpark?
So I am just a guideway.
Okay.
I really don't do anything there with them. That's a whole nother set of people that are kind of dealing with that. But I could maybe help you with some information.
Yeah, I'll follow up later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Follow up with you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Chief Lanning, Fire Department.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
You have my prepared report before you. I do want to backtrack a little bit. I completely forgot that I believe at the request of the board, we have a hallway video from camp. When I was up there earlier, I completely forgot to display that. But before we get to that, I just wanted to again hit that we did have 15 participants this year, which is our greatest participation thus far. And got a couple complaints from some kids that, hey, we need to start changing things up. So if anybody has any ideas of how to keep kids involved, we're all ears. So we're going to work next year. A couple of them have been here all 3 years, so they're starting to get a little bored. Getting better at some things year to year, but boredom nonetheless. And then the last thing is we are still exploring options for the surplus of the 1995 E1. We have a lead that we feel is somewhat promising through the community college, but they're waiting on the approval of the state budget. So before they will know what funds they have available. So just to update you all on that. And Mike, if you will play that video, please.
I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets, backstage. gonna send a bird, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Here I
I like how everyone knew whose kid that was. I was like, oh, there she goes.
Yeah, so last year she was terrified. And obviously we're on the 5th floor on the roof of the training tower. She, roughly 50, 60 foot off the ground. And we went down in tandem. She wanted to go down, but she didn't want to do it by herself. So we both, put our harnesses on and I connected her to me. We went down. This year, she was very headstrong. Daddy, I'm doing it by myself. That was until she got to the ledge. So the one picture of me sitting there was trying to coach her and, hey, you can do this. And so she did it the first time, a little hesitant. But by the second time, we were on the roof of the training tower talking about inverting, which is something we can do for pickoffs. And she was like, I'm doing it. And so she made it she had about 20 foot left, and I'm on the ground, and I'm looking up, and here she is. She's upside down. And so she very much did it. So proud dad moment. The one thing I do want to say, Pam, I realized in the haste of creating this highlight video that I neglected to put both our group photo with Roger Dogs and Queso Salsa. So again, I just want to mention that it wasn't intentional. But again, with many partnerships, Spencer Deli, Queso Salsa, and Roger Dogs, they were more than gracious to facilitate our group and ensure that our kids and staff were fed. So very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good job.
All right, next is Mr. Taylor, Public Works.
Yeah.
Boring public works stuff after that. I'm sorry.
We're ready for your video.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where are you propelling from?
Sorry. I need to create one of those, I guess.
There's a piano. There's a piano on the street not far from my home, so you can take the pictures of that.
Sure. Sure. We can
Or
do
take
that.
a video you playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, squishing it with a backer. Either way. Well, good evening again.
Good evening.
So, regular services, everything's running on schedule except for mowing. Of course, we're behind on mowing because it will not stop raining. So, weird August weather for us this time. So, just to remind the citizens, though, please put all small debris in bags or set it up on the curb because we have cleaned a lot of it out of storm drains recently. So, just a reminder to do that. Trash service will be running one day late, the week of September 1st for Labor Day. That will alter trash service. So we will be running Tuesday through Friday, and we'll double up and do bulkies on Friday. Now that we've switched, and that'll be the next. We have transitioned back to a 4-day trash route. This is getting the guys to the landfill every day instead of waiting and have to go the next morning and then get late going, and it just kind of snowballs. So we have moved to a 4-day week. Everything seems to be going well. We may have to make some altercations, but I think we can do it in the same day. We don't have to change. Sam and I are still working on routes, so we'll get it narrowed down. The date for the fall mulch giveaway has been set for October 4th. Same rules apply, 7 till 12 o'clock that day. And then, which, every year falls on the same weekend that Thomas Train's in town. So, anyway, but you can call ahead and reserve loads to be delivered, just like normal. You can call the ladies at Town Hall or myself, either one. Send us emails. We usually get everything. The older trash truck is back in service, back in service. So we got it back, I think, last week. It was down for 2 weeks, having some repairs done to the tailgate. These were scheduled last budget year, but we finally got it worked into where we could get our schedule. We didn't want to be without the truck that long. You never know. So I'm always a little leery when I don't have a backup, especially on that truck. The sign arbor tractor, we're going to fix it to start doing. They got the clutch in, and it was running today. So hopefully by the first of the week, we're going to be doing a lot of mowing. and trimming along streets, edges, ditches, that kind of stuff. So it's just a little bit of a pain to find parts for it, as old as the tractor is, but we did narrow them down and got them taken care of. I know we have a meeting tomorrow about the park out here, and we've got some good news about the coating to go on the splash pad. So hopefully that will work out. And Ben and I are both in CPO training right now, which is Certified Pool Operators Training. We will finish on August 22nd when we take our exam, and then we can apply for our operational permit, which will allow us to actually run the splash pad. So that's coming soon. Just an update on the Chicken Springs Dam. We did respond to DEQ. I've had phone calls with them, and so we're going to schedule probably next week another inspection where we can actually be there and see what the delinquency and that kind of stuff. Because from the letter last time we received to the letter this time we received, nothing changed, and we know we've done things to change. So we just want to be on site with them and our engineer, to find out exactly what's going on. So. Other than that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Board, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Taylor, I just wanted to ask, I spoke with some residents and parents of students at North Rowan Elementary and Middle right down Charles Street, and they are asking, in reference to students that are walkers, is there any way that sidewalks can be erected in certain areas for ensuring their safety?
Okay. Sidewalks, that is in the works.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that is part of our EB 5861 project with North Carolina DOT. And so basically we just need to find, what is it, $8 million more? So we've got basically $4 million secured.
So we've been working on the feasibility study for kind of a pared down scope of the full alignment that gets you all the way through town to the river, and we focus this feasibility study on the stretch that starts at 7th Street in Whitehead and goes to down Whitehead to Oakwood to Charles Street and then to Highway 29. So we have we've gotten to that stage, and now we're asking the what's next question about funding. We've been talking with various pieces of NCDOT, including in the last couple weeks, and we've actually had a connection made with somebody in Raleigh who's in charge of the entire state TIP, who has shared with us some maybe promising interest about how we could find additional funding to go towards that project. So that's kind of a late breaking development that we just continue to try to beat all bushes on how to find the funding necessary for that.
So, Mr. Muhammad, I think the response is that the town is working on it, but we've got to have partnership from the state.
Absolutely, and I believe that was clear in reference to what Peter was stating. So DOT is involved as well.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Majorly.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How about lightness on the chipper, this new chipper you was supposed to be here?
Delivery is supposed to be the last week of August. So we're looking at about 2 weeks.
Good.
Well, I'm sorry. It's going into manufacture that week. So we'll probably see it the first or the second week of September.
Good.
And it's been the same ever since we put it in order. And nothing's changed. So, but here we're getting to the deadline. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some changes, but they're putting them out as fast as they can get them. And the one that we actually wanted, he did not have in stock, and they had to go to order. So we're waiting just like everybody else is waiting.
Okay.
But it'll be here soon.
Very good.
Thank you,
Good.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, Mrs. Can, Finance.
What's the map in this? Yeah, there was a.
That's it's color coded in the electronic packet, and it shows the different days of the week the trash collection shows the addition of the Thursday route.
Gotcha.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Sorry I don't have a video for you. We've been in training every morning with the new software. I'll get a video of them sitting there with their phones to their ears for you though. Just kidding, we won't do that. It's boring. I wanted to let you know that yes, on August 1st, our training did begin for the Black Mountain software. We are in training from 10 to 12:30 every day throughout the month of August. There might be 2 days that are in the afternoon, but we have set our phones to voicemail during that time, and then there is a message on voicemail during that time, so that if citizens call in during that time, they'll get a voicemail and we'll get the return their call within that day. So they know that we're in training through the voicemail, but just want to let you know that. So our first payroll has went through our Black Mountain software, and our first accounts payable run has went through. With the only problem is just the different looks of some of the forms that come out. So everything went pretty smooth with that. The next payroll will be a true up for our police and fire, so that's going to throw a little kink into things, or we're going to learn a little bit more, I guess you could say, on a positive note. We'll learn more during that payroll. So everything seems to be working well with it. And then I really just, with the finances, I mean, it's only the first month into the year. There was really no notes to put on there with the report. So I gave you a finish up of FY25, and I was happy to report that our sales and use tax was 4.38% over what it was in 2024. So that was a good thing to come out. Our audit field work has begun. I've got a list of things to turn into them. They will be in September to finish up that. Is there any questions about anything?
Or any questions on finance?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, next is our library report. Mrs. Ward.
Good evening. So this month was the end of the summer reading program at the library, and Librarian McCraw had various local people come to speak about places they were from, such as Sarah Fox came and spoke about the Fiji Islands, and then Chandra from Trinidad came and spoke to them, and she wore a sari, and the children experienced some of the local food from that area as well. And then Alma from Queso Salsa actually came and read a Mexican version or Spanish Mexican version of Cinderella, and Librarian McCaw translated it for them, and they made maracas with paper plates and dried beans, and had Mexican cookies. And then Mrs. McCraw actually covered France for the children, and they then later the next week there was a recent graduate from North Roran who spoke about the Hmong culture, and she wore a handmade embroidered dress and read the story to the kids that was about a young Vietnamese girl. And then the last one was about Ghana and Liberia, and the children received pencils and bracelets with African animals. And in September, Pepper Basham is coming, and she is quite popular with our local residents right now. Her books are, so she should be coming on September 16th to speak to patrons. And then there is the statistics for the month, and then sort of tying into that with the active living report that I'm still working on, knowing what all to include. The library AC unit actually has decided to die. And so Mr. Taylor and Mr. Francis and Mrs. Can and I are all trying to find a way to keep the library open and not a sauna for any longer than necessary. So we will keep you posted on that as it progresses. And then with the Parks and Recreation Board, they met not yesterday, last week. I was thinking it was the day before the pre-agenda meeting. And Vice Chair Dionne Dixon, she has taken the lead with Race to the River for Spencer. And there was actually a meeting this morning for Creek Week where she was able to report on our progress with all of that. And then Chair Pendergrass and myself will be attending the Outdoor Economy Conference in September, which that will be reimbursed by the Department of Commerce because of our core strategic planning program. And then there was various other discussion, and artist Gina Franco has begun her work on the mural at 108 4th Street. And I think those were, the town park dedication ceremony is scheduled for the same night as National Night Out on October 7th.
All right. Thank you. Board, any questions on I've got to get this right, we're calling it the active living report going forward. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Ward. We'll move to Mr. Francis. Oh, I think we're good. We'll move to the town manager report, Mr. Francis.
Okay, so I'm going to invite Joe Morris to come, and you'll recall we've been waiting on a announcement from the governor about a big grant for us, and there's been an announcement made, so I thought this would be a good time for Joe to share the good news.
Thank you. So as town manager indicated, we had been on the lookout for a response on the North Carolina Great Trail State Program grant. We received a written notification from Secretary of Natural and Cultural Resources Pamela Catchwell on July 7th. The amount that we were awarded was $460,000. That will be used in combination with privately contributed matching funds from the Robertson Foundation, Mr. Fred Standback, the Carolina Thread Trail, and also Duke Energy Foundation, which totaled up to $230,000 in private funds that will be used as our match, which will provide a project total budget of $690,000. Our plan is to build approximately 7,500 linear feet of trail within the most recently acquired 45 acres of the Standback Educational Forest. And we will begin the process. They actually notified us that we would hear from a representative from NC Parks before we start the process. I imagine we'll have a year really of due diligence and design work and planning, bidding, that sort of thing. So maybe a year from now, we'll be underway and be building trails. So it'll take a little bit of time, but we'll work as hard as we can to make that go faster if possible.
And just as a reminder, we had previously gotten a $100,000 grant that required no match for the construction of the Blue Way Trailhead. So those two projects actually will work well together to really create another access point into the forest on that side of town. And the due diligence is winding down on that project. That one will start in the closer future. most likely.
Yeah, the only thing that we've gone through the environmental review on the Blue Wave trailhead with the State Historic Preservation Office, Army Corps of Engineer, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the Department of Environmental Quality, and we have had complete and total acceptance of all of our proposals. We are lacking a no-rise certification from the Rowan County Floodplain Administrator. But I'm on it, so we've got somebody that's helping us with that.
Mr. Morris, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Putting the application together and once again working your magic.
I believe we've also applied for an award through Central Carolina too, not a monetary award, but
yeah, that reminded me of another thing. We have applied just as a recognition from Central Carolina Council of Government in their quality of life category, and we actually our application was written based on the capital campaign because of its unique nature and the fact that we, as a community, based on the leadership of the board, took a leap of faith, and the staff was allowed to raise the funds necessary to close the funding gap. And I felt like in my conversations with the town manager, that was a unique thing that other communities might not be able to necessarily pull off, so we did that. But I should mention, we have an application currently being reviewed for the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund for the Forest Center, the 401 11th Street property. The trustees will meet a week from Friday, which is August 22nd. And so we will know by mid-afternoon whether that project is funded. So hopefully we'll have more good news. We'll see.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, Mr. Franzese, back to you.
So if there's any questions that you may have, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, board, any questions for the manager? Okay, hearing none, we will move to comments from the board and mayor, and we will start with Mr. Miller this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think tonight we've talked about all the staff and how well trained they are, and I'm real proud of what they're doing as far as that goes. I think that's a sign that we have a guy up on the top leading and trying to point towards professionalism, and I have to say he's doing a great job along with the staff as well. I'd like to also point out, I think Mrs. Can and your wife, Mrs. Franzese, is working on a leadership program on their own. Mm-hmm. So I congratulate them as far as that goes. And real proud. I'm glad we got a real trained staff, because sometimes I'm not sure if the board really needs them as far as that goes. But I am proud of, and I wish more people would take insights in how important these people are to our town, because that is the most important thing in our town, is to the people, and I'm real proud of those people as far as it goes. And one last comment, being a life member of Spencer JC's, I'd like to put my 2 cents worth in about Labor Day. That used to be a big thing for the JC's, and I'm glad they're bringing a few things back about the JC's, and I encourage everybody to attend the street dance, and should be a good time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Ms. Moody.
Well, first I just want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. It's nice to see faces. Thank you for helping us move forward and contribute to the town. I wanted to acknowledge that this is National Black Business Month. We have some amazing businesses in Spencer, but specifically this month, we can focus on supporting and recognizing the contributions of Black-owned businesses in Spencer, which is really important to our history, but also our present and our future. And before we meet again in a regular meeting capacity, we will on August 26th, have Women's Equality Day, which commemorates the 1920 adoption of the 19th Amendment, which prohibited the denial of the right to vote based on sex. Women's Equality Day serves as a reminder of the progress made and the work that still needs to be done. And I think this is a really poignant time in our country to remember that day, and just really proud to sit at this table and be a part of this community.
Thank you, Ms. Moody. Mr. Howe?
Yeah, a few things. I think all the recognitions today were really cool. We don't always have that many at one time, but that was awesome. I think especially it's nice to recognize a member of the media. To echo the mayor's comments, it's we live in a world where I grew up reading the newspaper, and you trusted members of the media, and maybe you didn't agree with them, but you understood where they're coming from, and I wish we could get back to that. So thank you for your efforts, and I think on the ordinance, I voted no, but I do appreciate the efforts of staff, and my vote no is primarily because I just think we're rushing this a little bit, but I do think it will be helpful in the abstract, and hopefully whatever issues may arise, we can work through them over time. So, Mr. Bond, I appreciate you putting it all together. My no is not a reflection of your work.
Thank you, Mr. Howe. Ms. Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm trying to think of the things I want to talk about today. One of the things you mentioned something about fish and wildlife, and I got a request from someone today to sign on to a support for wildlife crossings in the state of North Carolina. I've got to do a little bit more research on that before I decide. But I think about that tortoise that you helped to move from one place to the other across the street. So I don't know exactly what wildlife crossings they're talking about. I will be attending Central Carolina Council Board of Delegates meeting tomorrow, so I hope to bring back more information from that. Aaron, I want to thank you for mentioning Women's Equality Day. That's through my work with Business and Professional Women and through the ERANC Alliance. We have supported Women's Equality Day for many, many years and recognize it. One of my heroes is Alice Paul, who actually wrote the Equal Rights Amendment. And I have her biography and a button, and I actually bought a T-shirt recently that says "Voting like a girl since 1920." So thank you for mentioning that. Thank you too for the folks who decided to step up and run for re-election. I told Mr. Howe how much I appreciated his service on this board and his experience and his knowledge that's been a good part of it. I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to work with Ms. Stanley. And I want to thank the two board members who did file to run again, Aaron and Rashid, and look forward to having an opportunity to work with you as well. So it's important that we do that. It's important that we be involved. It's important that we support the media, the local newspapers particularly. I said I will always have a subscription to a newspaper because the print is what keeps politicians honest. And so I appreciate the fact that you have done an excellent job of keeping us honest here in North Rowan, and we will miss you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sledge. Mr. Muhammad.
All right. First and foremost, I would like to thank the residents and business owners that attended the meeting here face-to-face with us and all that are viewing as well. We appreciate that. Those that came for public comment, it's very important that we hear you all's feedback, be it good, great, and different, in reference to moving forward with this town. The amount of recognitions that were given this evening was extraordinary, very outstanding. And one thing I can say is that we greatly appreciate all the work from the department head leadership and the staff and their service. And there is no good deed or great deed that goes that's unrecognized. So it's good to see the recognition that was given, and then also seeing that the youth in the community are aspiring to be firefighters. And some look like they're repeat trainers, but that's a great thing because that gives a positive outlook on growth for a later day. But also too, I want to say I am honored to serve here in this town, and I enjoy doing the work, and I'm excited about the things that are coming. And I hope that everyone has a blessed rest of the evening, and well, look forward to having future conversations with staff and residents as well.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem.
I was just sitting here thinking tonight, listening to all the comments on the board and hearing from area business people and citizens. And I'm 76 years old, and a lot of times 76-year-old people dwell on the past, but you know, it amazes me that I am just as interested in the present and the future. And that's hard to do sometimes at 76, because I am excited about what is happening here in Spencer. And I hate I won't be alive to see all of it, but I'm hoping I can get some glimpses from heaven. That's where I'm planning on being. But I'm just really excited about the cohesiveness and working together. I'm thrilled that we're going to have our 2 returning board members, and Miss Stanley, I'm going to be so glad to have you up here. Look forward to working with you. Very proud of all of our staff. And I do want to go back one more time to the schools. Some of you know Brian Alford. He's president of the Boosters Club at North Rand High School and does all kinds of things. Well, they had their opening scrimmage this past Friday, and most of my family went, and Mr. Alford fed everybody in the stadium, including the visiting team from Garinger, Charlotte, and the fans, and at no charge. And I just said North Rowan was such a class act, because I guarantee you that does not happen very often. The team looked great from what I understand. They scored we scored 8 touchdowns. The other team scored none. So I think we're headed for a good season. Opening game is not this Friday, but next Friday at home on the 22nd against West Rowan. So try to come out and support the team and the students, the players, cheerleaders, the band, the whole kit and caboodle. It'd be wonderful if you could. And finally, a big shout out again to Pinocchio's and Fleming's Bakery for Table 10, which they did again last night. From what I understand, I wasn't able to come because of prior obligations, but I heard they had a great crowd and it was a huge success. And if you haven't been yet, you need to go to the next one. 5 to 8, $10 cost, or what you can pay, all the way down to nothing. So it is not a for-profit thing. They're just trying to be sustaining and do this every month and bring the community together. And you don't have to live in Spencer. So if you can come to that, bring your family and participate in that. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah.
Where has our card gotten to?
Raise your hand. Oh, thank you.
So, in the interest of embarrassment, like certain people like Mr. Miller like to do to me when it happens to be my birthday on a meeting night. It's not his birthday tonight, but it was on Sunday. And so I think we need to offer a happy birthday, although it's a couple of days belated, to our town manager, Mr. Franzese. Happy 42nd birthday to you, sir.
Thank you.
You are about to join the club. You're catching up to me.
The water's pretty good here in the 40s. I shared with the mayor, I interviewed 5 years ago on my birthday. I was turning 37. That's when I first got to meet everyone in person for an in-person interview to be here. So I can't believe that it's been 5 years and the gifts keep on coming. I really enjoy being a part of the team here. So thank you.
Good. I promise the embarrassment will keep on coming too. So.
Yeah, should we go pull the balloons? Secretary, his office.
Yeah, I will say that our town staff did a wonderful job of redecorating
Yes.
his office. I believe Chief Lanning might have been responsible for that. Nice job. Just remember that that may be repaid
Yeah, payback is.
in the future.
It's been very joyful. I appreciate it.
Very good. Well, thanks for celebrating your birthday with us here. All right, folks, that's all I have this evening, unless there is a need to go into closed session for any reason. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? I see Mr. Muhammad's ready for it. I'm going to give it to him. Go for it.
So moved.
All right, second motion. Motion by Mr. Muhammad, second by Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor? All right, all opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you all for coming.